Nebula is a brutal space pirate and cyborg mercenary. She gained infamy across the galaxy. She's the adopted granddaughter of Thanos. Before cybernetics. Like sometimes they let us get a glimpse in her past. And for the most part, she's always been a ridiculously good fighter. If you go by how she is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you might underestimate her a bit. Because if I was to ask you who has stronger muscles, you probably would say Spider-Man over Nebula without knowing stuff, right? A quick reference, Spider-Man is listed as a class 10 turner. I would say class 10. And they have his strength as a 4 out of 7, which is pretty strong. But just keep in mind, even though he's a 10 tonner, quote unquote, they say, quote unquote 10 tonners in Marvel can lift 10-ton buses, lift 60-ton tanks. 10 tonners can quote unquote support some of the weight of a building, y'all. So if that's what 10 tonners can do, what the heck can Nebula do? If she's a 5 out of 7 higher strength tier than Spider-Man, what can she do? Yeah, it's one of those things that's hard to picture, but technically, if Nebula is on a higher strength tier than him, you saw what those tier strength characters can do. She should be able to do all that stuff, but more. Because they say she can lift up to 60 tons. Just say class. We know she probably can lift more than that, just like how the 10-tonner people can lift more than 60 tons. The thought of Nebula being able to support the weight of a building like a 10-tonner class being shouldn't be far-fetched if she's in a higher strength class. The thought of her supporting a building above her head sounds crazy, doesn't it? Or at least some of the weight of a building, like even supporting thousands of tons. It sounds ludicrous to think about, but technically if she was in the same situation with Spider-Man, if she was to get replaced by Spider-Man, she would be able to do this job of supporting the weight of all this based on her strength class. She's in a higher strength class than him. She should be able to do this and more. But if you want to lowball her bare minimally without even talking about the strength class, we know for a fact she can lift bare minimally 60 tons as a lowball, really. Like, imagine her supporting the weight of over 1,000 tons. A great argument could be said that she can lift more based on her muscles literally clashing with an Asgardian tier being like Scourge, somebody in his grid who is also a 5 out of 7 strength. I would even argue Nebula can lift way over thousands of tons, considering that she's matching the strength of Scourge, somebody we've seen have a fun arm wrestle with Thor. Thor does win, but he did match him for a little while, I would say. But then there's other occasions where God of Strength tier characters like Hercules call Scourge's grip unbreakable. There's even times when Scourge's grip is compared to Thor. This is coming from Hercules, y'all, one of the strongest beings physically in Marvel history. So I would even go as far as saying that Scourge's power grid doesn't really show him justice. There's even other characters that fear his strength can hurt Thor. I would still give Thor Hercules the advantage in raw strength, but the fact that they're giving him this kind of props lets you know there's implications that his strength is way above everything I've been saying. Nebula matching his strength should be absurd. Technically, if you want to look at it like that, you could argue Nebula can lift a mountain or even more planets based on how strong these beings like Thor and Hercules are, and Scourge is matching their muscle. They're calling his grip unbreakable and comparing the strength of Thor and stuff. So yeah, Scourge is getting props from beings that can throw planets out of orbit, y'all, when it comes to their muscle. And beings that can lift the freaking universe. I'm pretty sure somebody that can lift infinite, massive weights, immeasurable weight. I'm sure if somebody says you're strong, that can lift the heavens or universe itself for 3 hours, I'm pretty sure when they say you're strong, you're strong. Scourge is getting props like this, and Nebula is clashing muscles with these kind of beings. So in the comics, the one thing I never understood this about Gamora. On her raw strength grid, her strength is only a 3 out of 7, while Spider-Man's is a 4 out of 7. But when it comes to the weight of her strikes, Gamora is consistently hurting powerhouses and making them drowsy. With blunt hits without using a gun or nothing, it never made sense to me if her strength rating is this low. Her occasions are so consistent to where there's no way this could be an outlier or just the writers making a mistake. This is on purpose. It matches her theme of being the deadliest woman in the galaxy, so narratively it makes sense, and it makes sense when you see how consistent she is, but yet her power grid was kind of off. Look at the weight of her hits, and look what she does to She-Hulk. How is somebody in a class 3 doing this, like a class 3 out of 7 doing this to She-Hulk? Like raw skills? You can argue she knows some secret martial art in the galaxy that nobody on Earth has ever learned that allows her to pretty much negate durability or something. You're probably thinking, what does this have to do with Nebula? Well, this has a lot to do with Nebula, considering Gamora can do all this stuff despite her strength rating doing all this. It's because of her skill or whatever. She knows some mystical martial art or whatever. Yeah. Despite all this, it seems like the writers didn't make the same mistake with Nebula's powers or strength on her grid, because Nebula's is actually a little bit more accurate when it comes to her strength being a 5 out of 7. I honestly think they should probably make Gamora's higher too on the strength tiers in updated guidebooks or something. Like, this brings me to like Nebula's striking power after all this strength I pretty much proved that she has. She has to have absurd fighting or striking power to match Gamora this much. Sure, this is a skill thing too, but her striking power and durability has to be somewhere in Gamora's ballpark for them to be slugging this much. And we know who Gamora is constantly damaging, powerhouses of the universe of Marvel Comics. So when you see Nebula do stuff like this, it shouldn't really be shocking for her to damage her. Her strength grid is higher than Gamora's, and she's always a rival to Gamora. I mean, the comics themselves even say she rivals Gamora. So when you see Nebula damaging the same beings that Gamora can damage, it kind of adds up with Marvel's lore. And yes, I'm aware Marvel has a lot of overpowered weapons or gear or whatever. No, it's not a gear kind of thing. First of all, her gear is a part of her body anyway. But even then, it's not a gear feat because it's actually a part of her body. And we don't necessarily see her damage these beings only with just guns. We actually see her straight up strike powerhouse tier beings in Marvel like Ronin and have full-blown battles with these guys. Like, yo, look at this. Ronin is durable enough to constantly withstand attacks from Silver Surfer tier beings, Captain Marvel tier beings, some of the strongest powerhouses in the Marvel Universe. Captain Marvel tier beings can easily destroy planets. What does that say about Nebula? She can damage these same beings that can withstand hits from Captain Marvel, blasts from Captain Marvel tiers. That would kind of imply her cybernetically enhanced punches or just raw strength can hurt, damage beings that can withstand stuff that is way above planet-shattering levels of power. I mean, Ronin himself, working together with Silver Surfer, Beta Reveal, and other characters, can help fuse suns or combine two stars together, like sun-type stuff, things that are way bigger than Earth. So saying she can damage planet busters is an oversimplification. She's damaging beings that can shatter stars, things that are way bigger than Earth. This kind of punching power looks ridiculous or hard for you to fathom, but when you think about who her rival is, Gamora, she does the same ludicrous stuff that don't make no kind of sense. So in a weird way, all of this stuff kind of makes sense when you realize Nebula can box with Gamora with bare fists and skill, punching power, and etc. Like, she got blasted by Thor's wind and overcame it. If you think all this is BS, there's more evidence of the weight of her strikes. When you look at the crazy stuff she can withstand, it lets you know her durability is kind of crazy too. Like, I'm talking about falls from space, blast from Phoenix Force, Thane, and let's look at the fact the weight of her strikes can affect beings like the champion of the freaking universe. This is a guy that has his strength and durability compared to the freaking Hulk. The Thing agrees that the champion can hit ridiculously hard. I mean, look what Nebula's doing to Ronin. This is a guy that can match Silver Surfer in overall raw power, blast power, withstanding straight up full-blown blast from two high-end characters, one of them being the Silver Surfer. Somebody's raw energy that's described as being too universal. Using your energy in a way could be so dangerous it can destroy a galaxy. Like, this is the kind of stuff we're talking about, y'all, that Ronin has to withstand blasts from, like beings like Silver Surfer. Beings that can create such wide energy blasts, it can envelop an entire galaxy. These beings that are too universal, quote unquote, and beings that can make energy blasts the size of galaxies, these are the same beings that are blasting Ronin. And these are the kind of beings that Nebula is striking and affecting with the weight of her fists. Now you see why all this stuff is impressive for Nebula strikes. The weight of her punch seems to be able to cause Thanos some self-agony, and he's considered, I would say, a Skyfather tier type being. Is that him dripping blood I see? Like, what the heck is that? We've actually seen Thanos and Odin clash in raw power, showing their durability, showing Thanos' durability to be able to kind of push through Odin's ridiculously powerful energy blast despite him blasting them in his face. We've seen Thanos get blasted by beings that can cause ripples that go across every plane of reality, like beings like Odin. We've seen them get blasted by beings. It's where their battles are waged across every plane of existence, making ripples across every plane of reality, like crazy stuff like that. That's the type of stuff Thanos has withstood. Boxing with Odin like that, getting blasted in the face by Odin, right? So you know Thanos' body is ridiculously durable, but somehow Nebula can do this though? With blunt hits, blunt punches, no gun. She's damaging and punching beings that can withstand hits that could shake like different universes, more than one universes. Like, she's hitting this hard with her blunt hits. Hey, they said it, not me. They called her a universal threat. All this stuff I've been mentioning was just straight up hits, or the weight of her hits somehow being this hard. But she has other things like her blast power, like she uses to bust out a Spider-Man's web. She can use them like heat beams to melt or laser through metal. She can use them to blast holes in ships. We've seen her destroy a device. With these blasts, blast back Captain America's shield. For the most part, all that crazy stuff I've showed you with her punches, who she can damage with her punches, it's kind of the same thing for her blast power too. She herself believes her wrist cannons can make beings like Star Fox into ash, or just kill beings this powerful. We've seen her blast back the whole Guardians of the Galaxy team, damage beings like Nova, blast back Thor, and as impossible as it may seem, she has gear that can focus her own power that can do damage to the Silver Surfer. I mean, she has a gun that can damage Silver Surfer. Remember, Silver Surfer is the same guy that can be in an explosion between Thanos that had the Infinity Stones and the Cosmic Beings. He can withstand being in an explosion that blows away multiple solar systems. That's why Nebula damaging him is crazy with that gun. And with her fist, like you saw earlier. I want to hear what you think. Do you think her punches are scarier, or do you think her blast power is worse? I wouldn't blame you if you thought her blast power was more than her actual strength, because her energy projection is actually higher than her strength on the grid, being a 6 out of 7 and her strength being a 5 out of 7. I mean, shoot. We've seen her consistently blast and competing with Captain Marvel tier beings, even if they're considered like a different universe version. Still, her blast power can compete with beings like Philavale. Let's talk about her impressive fighting speed. She's constantly blitzing beings that have guns, like you can see the after images on the wall and everything. Part of the reason why she could be fast could be partly because of her data analysis, like you see the thing in her eye. It can kind of predict what you're going to do before you do it. You could argue that could be a reason on why her combat speed could be so good too. I mean, think about it. Reaction time wise, even before her cybernetic stuff, she still is able to react to Captain America's shield throw. We've seen her dodge attacks from Thor, dodge energy blasts, laser guns. She's basically just as fast as Gamora in every way, based on their battle feats together. She's the same person that can spar with Thanos and compete with him in combat speed. Thanos even giving her compliments. Gamora is a being that can deflect laser blasts, light speed stuff consistently. Gamora is also able to move so fast that she straight up looks like a speedster at times. And this is who Nebula has to compete with in combat speed. Spectrum is a being that can literally shoot and turn into light, and she can block her attacks. So you know Gamora and Nebula got to be similar in combat speed, right? If they weren't, why would the writers draw them in panels like this if they wasn't somewhere in each other's league? Nebula has had, the quote-unquote temporary powers, you can say, where she basically became cosmic being status or higher. It's where she temporarily became stronger than all your favorite characters combined, basically, when she has all the Infinity Stones and the Infinity Gauntlet. It's an overwhelming amount of power. They even dub it omnipotence. She can battlefield remove beings like how she did Thanos here. She can casually make artifacts with her mind that can restrain some of the strongest beings of the Marvel Universe at the same time, including Hulk, Thor, Drax, Doom, etc. The same with Thanos. He can't move. Like right here, she had like an old mangled form, but the moment she gets this glove, she has no problems healing. This glove gives her super senses way beyond what you would believe. She knows who's coming before they even come. She's able to withstand punches that could rend a small planet asunder. She can take these kind of punches to the face from powerhouses like Drax and Hulk and withstand it. They are nothing. See, Thanos, when he had the gauntlet, he did a lot of destruction. She simply reversed it. With the exception of how she retains the Infinity Gauntlet, everything else be as it was 24 hours ago. She basically restored everything that Thanos got rid of and pretty much saved the day. Believe it or not, 24 hours earlier, she was like in a mangled form, but she still healed up instantly and just restrains Thanos again. I mean, she's messing up cosmic beings of the Marvel Universe, even when they all try to battle her at the same time. They're all a joke to her. I mean, she was the omnipotent Nebula. Here's a visual map for you when it comes to the power she possessed. But of course, she can't keep power like this. Honestly, nobody needs power like this. If you could just overpower the abstract like this, it got out of her grasp. Everybody was fighting for the gauntlet, and that's how Adam Warlock ended up with the gauntlet. Cool power and all, but of course she doesn't keep it. She don't need it to be a threat anyway. I guess you could say she had other gear that's not the Infinity Gauntlet. That's kind of like a temporary power, like this super axe that can cleave through time and space itself. It's stuff she never keeps for good, though. As you can tell throughout this video, she's physically enhanced by like crazy. You see her little eye? Yeah, this helps her identify weaknesses in armors when she's battling and shooting. Good luck trying to use illusions on her. She's not easily fooled. Like we see this happen again where they thought they had trapped her in an illusion and she busts out. She's resistant. Like some of these illusions are just obvious. Like she knows she's in one. One of her adventures escaping the God Quarry, a permanent power, you could say. She seems to have better survivability after being in the God Quarry. Yeah, you see where she's at, the God Quarry. It's because of this place why her senses got enhanced and stuff about her just got enhanced. She can simulate multiple battle scenarios so she can figure out the best possible outcome. She has all kinds of gear and weapons like a jetpack. She has ways to get around. Image shifting devices that allow her to change her look. Teleportation device. Grapple gun. Electric staff. You could say her body itself is her gear on top of her having gear because she's cybernetic and she has guns that can focus her rage, channels it into a red hot laser blast. She wasn't always cybernetic. She got pretty much worked on like a project, you could say. Gotta love the mad scientists in comics, right? She has built-in cannons or plasma type gear in general she's always using. Whether it be her just gear being able to blast hard or just her literally having the blast or cannons in her because of cybernetics. Oh no, her weapons being a part of her is literally stated and confirmed. High-tech weapons, some built into her cybernetic parts itself. So it's not even gear at this point. It's just her at this point. Like, she's always getting modified and stuff like that when it comes to her parts. Yeah, Nebula is a beast without no power-ups or no special gear. Her cybernetic enhancements makes her insane. Her standard self is crazy. Just her punches, kicks, skills, her cannons or blasts are potent too. She's just a beast. But before I get going, I gotta give a quick thanks to the donators real quick. It helps out a lot. Nebula. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.